right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick's on the Power. So I want to talk about the time that Lee Priest beat Ronnie Coleman. Actually, in this video, it's going to be multiple times that Lee Priest beat Ronnie Coleman, all in 1 year. So the year 1977 was a great year for Lee Priest's bodybuilding career. Even though he didn't win any major titles, he had a lot of really good top 3 placings in 1997 and a very good placing at the Olympia, taking 6th place at the 1997 Olympia, where, of course, he beat Ronnie Coleman, who took 9th at the 1997 Mr. Olympia. And of course, Ronnie Coleman would win his first of 8 Mr. Olympia titles the very next year in 1998. So in 1997, even though Ronnie Coleman had not yet won a Mr. Olympia, he was still becoming a really good bodybuilder, and he was starting to get noticed as one of the top guys or as a potential threat to the Mr. Olympia. He did win one of the Grand Prix that year, and he placed highly at several of the Grand Prix. So back in the 90s, it seemed like the Olympia guys competed a lot more often. So as a result of that, with all these Grand Prix competitions, Ronnie Coleman and Lee Priest would go head-to-head multiple times in these Grand Prix. So not only did Lee Priest beat Ronnie Coleman at the Olympia when Ronnie Coleman placed 9th and Lee placed 6th in 1997, he beat Ronnie Coleman in the 1997 Grand Prix Germany, taking 3rd while Ronnie took 5th, the Grand Prix Hungary, taking 3rd where Ronnie took 6th, and the Grand Prix Spain, again taking 3rd where Ronnie took 7th. And then they really got compared at the 1997 Ironman Pro Invitational. Of course, Lee Priest would go on to win the Ironman finally in 2006, but in 1997, Lee Priest took 2nd there, and Ronnie Coleman took 3rd. So I think a lot of people underestimate how good Lee Priest actually was because he doesn't hold that many major bodybuilding titles, but it was his ability to place very highly at these shows and beat guys much bigger than himself, weighing in the low 200s, where a lot of these guys weighed in the mid to high 200s, in some cases having 40, 50, potentially 60 pounds heavier than Lee Priest. But it was his ability to overcome these bigger guys that made him so impressive. And if you add those up, he beat Ronnie Coleman 5 times in 1997. 8-time Mr. Olympia Ronnie Coleman was beaten by Lee Priest 5 times in 1 year. And just the fascinating contrast between these two physiques, Ronnie Coleman, who would become later on known as being the biggest Mr. Olympia ever to hit the Olympia stage, weighing 296 pounds in 2004, and Lee Priest being one of the lightest men's open bodybuilders of recent years, having defeated him that many times, I think is an incredible accomplishment. And not only did he defeat Ronnie Coleman, he also would go on to defeat Jay Cutler and Dexter Jackson during the later years of his career. So in totality, Lee Priest would go on to beat 3 future Mr. Olympias and beat Ronnie Coleman 5 times in 1 year. So just another little impressive fact about Lee Priest, man. I think he's one of the most incredible bodybuilders to come out of the 90s and early 2000s. And looking back, I continue to be impressed by the things he was able to achieve during his career, again, despite the fact he didn't have that many major titles. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.